And we are live. I was going to try and type stuff, but everybody's showing up. Stippling Vaughn in the house. Southern Cecil in the house. Yo, guys, what's going on? I think I have my actual YouTube page pulled up. So once you start, Randy's in the house. Hail, Randy. Once you start hearing me echo, it means that I haven't muted the other channel quick enough. There we go. I muted it. There we go. So we are live, man. Thank you guys for showing up. There's a lot going on this Sunday night. I just kind of did a quick click around the YouTube channels and some big names out there, but we definitely appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out at Comics Smack Talk Live. It's like I want to go for the old Maury Povich kind of the old school 80s, the blood tests have come in. He is not your son. You want to see a joyous expression on a young man's face is when he died. It's like he's Keanu in the Matrix, and he's just like, all those bullets are going by him. And he is not your son.
They hired actors for that show.
I'm sure they did, because it was just there was always. But the other thing is also so believable that people have gotten themselves. You look at the Teen Moms on MTV and all that stuff. There's a bunch of dumb teenagers that are just whatever. Get off topic right off the gate. Yeah, Thanks a lot, Southern Cecil.
I'd like to let's go right to the Britney story, because
the Britney story is pure gold.
I would say that because I don't know it, but my first comment is Britney and the other little blonde girl,
Christina,
who came out. Yeah, they are so lucky they came out when they did, because now because of social media, their hotness is nothing compared to. You can just go online and there's
there's
Instagram
girls.
chicks.
Yeah, you go on TikTok.
Yeah,
you go on TikTok and there's 30 girls that are prettier than they are and wearing less clothes, and then there's direct links to their OnlyFans.
Yeah, so half their audience would never have been interested in their music videos. Things have changed.
Yeah. Things have changed. I have not dipped my toe into the OnlyFans. What I'll keep getting, I do enjoy. Literally, I'll watch TikTok instead of watching satellite TV or whatever. I'll watch my sitcoms that I like that are in reruns, but there's no new stuff I like. But then, I can go through TikTok and I can watch animal videos and camping videos and just outdoorsy stuff. But then, the random big boob chick in a bikini shows up, and boom, right there is the link to her OnlyFans. I have not dabbled in the OnlyFans yet, but boy, the curiosity.
I will give you a hint.
Yeah.
You can Google them and you'll see a bunch of stuff anyways, and you get to see it for free.
Yeah, well, and they'll put right on there for a preview, look on my Twitter, and then there'll be a link to their Twitter, and it's okay, yeah, okay. Yeah.
And then there's always leak stuff because people record it when they're watching the OnlyFans stuff. So and then they post it at other sites.
The bikini top dropped off, but God bless those girls. So let's go through the chat here. We got Hail Southern Cecil. I know you're right there with me with my view on all the lovely ladies on the internet. And Randy's in the house. Hail Randy. Thanks, everybody, for showing up tonight. Oh, Kathleen Kennedy, must have. Yeah. But boy, that ugly-ass face with those, little, gopher teeth that she's got. I can't imagine she really does. This is my theory on Kathleen Kennedy. And everybody says, Kathleen Kennedy was executive producer on all these huge movies, and she's such a talent. Kathleen Kennedy was always the money person. She was the finance person for Lucasfilms, and she was a number cruncher and a ball buster. And she was great at that.
She's an accountant.
Yeah. And she'd been there for a long time. And she's shrewd. She's a shark. She's as good a businesswoman as anybody out there, and I'll give her credit for her business acumen, she is not a creative. When she came over to Disney, she tied herself into that Lucasfilms contract. George wanted to wash his hands of it. She's a shrewd businesswoman. I think she tied everything into the Lucasfilms acquisition by Disney that she'd still have control because she was the money person, she was the finance person, and she's a shark.
Yeah,
and
there's even a rumor
Yep.
that she hired a lot of people around her, so that when they wanted to fire her 2 years ago, they couldn't because they would have lost too many other people.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Needed. Yeah.
No, like I'm sure Disney would have liked to have gotten rid of her. I'm sure she's smart enough to have done all the contracts and signed everything, so they can't get rid of her up till a certain point.
Mhm.
But like, she's not a creative. Everything she's done, she's like stuck her thumb in everything, and it's turned to crap. Like, Disney spent $4 billion to get this. They did not want the first Star Wars trilogy to turn into what it was. No. They did not want Indiana Jones to turn into what it was.
Oh, okay. Here's the there's something about the Disney Star Wars stuff, though. They do not like having to pay George Lucas royalties. So it's been said that they wanted to get rid of George's characters as fast as possible and introduce new characters that are all exclusively Disney.
Yep, so, and I understand that. I could see them wanting to get rid of Han, Leia, and Luke.
But you got to sell your new characters while you're still positioning.
The way they did it was terrible.
Yeah. That just shows that they think they can do anything.
I think they could have done the trilogy. They could have gotten rid of Han, Leia, and Luke and handed off to the next generation. And if it would have been done the right way, everybody would have been cool with it. They did it in such a garbage way that it was like it left a sour taste in most of the hardcore fans' mouths. So
I like to, when it comes to creative, I like to do what I know works. So I would have been like, we're going to pay George Lucas effing royalties on his characters until the fans tell me that they don't want any more Luke and Leia. Because the first thing I would do is, the guy who played Winter Soldier in the Captain America movies?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sebastian
Stan. He looks just like Luke Skywalker.
He could play Luke Skywalker in a heartbeat and nobody would be sad about it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I would have done. I'm like, all right, Sebastian, we already have you on a Marvel contract. Yeah. How would you like to make $100 million in the next couple of years? We're going to make you the new Luke, and we're going to just roll with it.
Exactly. Hail, Marcus. Welcome, man. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. Appreciate it. Happy Sunday night. It has been a long, I don't know about the rest of you guys. It has been a long 4th of July week for your old pal CH right here. Like Tuesday on a 4-day weekend and having the 4th end on a Tuesday was a long. So I was outside. I was in the sun and I was drinking 4 days straight.
Oh,
and then 2 days I had my niece up here and she's 10. And this is the time when I get to spend with my niece because she's usually gone. So we do the 4th of July parade. We do the fireworks stuff and all that stuff. And I'm not used to having a little kid around. So we go all out and we got the Grimace shakes, and that was a score for Uncle Clint here.
What do they taste like? Because I know it's purple.
Sugar.
So...
Sugar is the number one.
Is it grapey at least?
My wife, it's grape colored. It doesn't taste like grape. My wife said it tasted like kind of Lucky Charms Fruity Pebbles. It tasted like sugary cereal candy,
Mm-hmm.
But I loved it. I was ready to. I drank mine, and she couldn't finish hers, and I drank the other half of that. So there was 3,000 calories.
Oh, oops!
But yeah, it was. And then Wednesday and Thursday kind of calmed down again, and then Saturday and Sunday kind of fired up again. So it's been a long holiday week.
That's really funny because I had the exact opposite because I was busy trying to finish the Frank Miller stuff. So as soon as I got that done, I had like Star Riders, which is on Kickstarter right now, or if just finished on Kickstarter.
Are you dabbling in stuff I don't even know about?
Well, Star Riders, I inked that 2 years ago.
Okay.
But the boss always wants tweaks. So he added a couple of new pages and patches. Like he thought a couple of things didn't read. So I just finished those today. So, and there's been a big, like, I want to get everything off my table so that I can just go full time in the Death Raider again, because I've had to do some part-time Death Raider stuff.
I'm going to wrench Randy. I know how to do it now. If I go into the YouTube page, okay, go to channel, remember, put user timeout hide, add as moderator, right? Add as moderator is a wrench, right?
Mm-hmm. And we learned last week how to do it.
So. I know, except I want to let me. Oh, here, can manage the top one. Standard moderator, managing moderator, standard moderator should be good enough, right? There we go.
I watched. Marcus is saying that Rob Liefeld loved Indy 5. Rob Liefeld always says positive stuff.
Rob,
because he's busy in Hollywood.
Rob is sucking up to as many producers as he can right now, and more power to him. He should be doing that.
Well, he has meetings with producers. He talks about all the time. He has friends that work at New Line and stuff.
Yeah.
I watched Indy. My wife and we watched Indy 5. It was fun. We liked Flash more though.
Oh, really?
And we talked about it. Like I asked her, I go, do you think we liked Flash where so many other people hated it? I go, it's because we don't give a shit about Flash, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, yeah. She goes, we don't care that Zack Snyder made this goofy, effeminate Flash.
Yeah.
Because we don't care about Flash. And we liked the Flash TV show. But even that guy is a little effeminate.
Yeah.
So I always thought of Flash as like a C-level character. So seeing him silly and funny and, finding out he's a train wreck in real life.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I thought the story was cool. People that complained about the CGI, some of the CGI effects, I thought they were that way on purpose. So
yeah, but I think after the fact, looking at it, is they're trying to cut their losses, and they're like, this is good enough.
I liked Logan when I first watched it, but I'm a huge, big surprise. You look at Death Raider, I'm a huge Wolverine fan.
Oh yeah.
I fucking hate Logan now because I see how they always made it. They spent the least amount of money as possible to make those movies. The Reavers went from these cool cyborg robot guys to amputees with robot
just
hand.
having like a little shell over their hand.
Yeah, exactly. And they died as fast as humans.
Only the main blonde dude did they do CGI on his hand to make it look cool. And all the rest of them were.
And they just were cannon fodder. They couldn't, the little Wolverine girl cut into them and they're dead immediately. You're like, that's not what the Reavers were. Reavers would come back with missing arms and chunks of their torso and stuff.
Yeah.
Just have to get worked on again. So.
Yeah, and like when you see those story elements, it's you don't think about it, but a lot of it just comes down to budget limitations and like people doing a write around and like, oh, we spent this much money on this one scene. Now we need to cut everything out of these last few scenes kind of thing. And it all comes down to money with these movies.
After we walked out of the theater, my wife looked at me and she goes, Wolverine was sick for 2 movies in a row?
Yeah, exactly.
And she's a superhero fan of the movies, but she doesn't like comic books at all.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I'm like, oh my God, you're right.
His whole mutant power is supposed to be that he's be able to heal anything. And he's like, oh, he's sick for 2 movies in a row. Yeah.
Like, how could they do that? How could they go? But for budget, that was perfect. Wolverine's sick, then you don't have to make super cool Reavers.
Yeah.
No, exactly. And you're trying to sell that little Spanish girl as the new Wolverine anyways.
Yeah.
So the shittier Wolverine is, the cooler she is.
Yeah.
And the New Mutants with their like super low budget, that's the world's most low budget New Mutants we've ever seen, except for the movie they made.
And this is why I love comics, man, because guess what, man? I got no budget for Pirate Queen. I got no budget for Blue Bombshell. skyscrapers are tipping over, spaceships are crashing into moons. It's like it's game on, man, with my comics, and that's kind of the wonderful thing about comics. Yeah, we brushed on Rob out there. Rob is out there selling. Rob is doing exactly what Rob should be doing. Rob does a comic every once in a while, does a new Deadpool or something just for the fun of it. But Rob is out there. Rob's out there trying to get his next, what was it, the Airborne or Kingborn or something. It was kind of a Superman-esque character that he had recently. And he's pushing that around Hollywood.
Oh, is that Supreme? Supreme was
it's a version of Supreme, but it's like a blue kind of Superman character. It's something Born, I think.
Okay, probably because he lost the movie rights to.
Yeah, well, he pissed away some of his Youngblood rights and stuff. So
yeah.
But like that's what Rob should be doing. Rob's an idea guy. Rob should be coming up with like 10 new superheroes every week, And
I think he does. I think he does. I think he really knows that because Prophet's coming out, so he is pitching all of his other characters that he still has the movie rights to.
And that's exactly what he should be doing, because the thing is you churn out a bunch of ideas and this one's like a ripoff of this, or this one's generic or whatever. You keep churning, you keep the wheels turning. There's going to be a good one in there. There's going to be a producer that sees and the thing is none of these ideas are going to be what he originally created and that goes to screen, because all of these movie producers get a hold of them and they're and then they've got their ideas and the director's got so everything kind of gets turned over. So it's keep throwing darts at the wall, because one of them is going to hit the bullseye. And
I tried to explain that to my old boss at Phenom, because he would get so particular about certain designs, and I would be like, dude, Hollywood if we get a Hollywood deal, they're going to change them anyways. So who cares? Just do something that that looks cool, and that's it. And
make it fun, make it exciting, get attention, because everything's going to change. And if you get optioned or whatever, it's gonna go through the Hollywood grind mill, and it's gonna get churned into something else entirely. And if you hold on to it like it's this precious thing, I'll hear creators and stuff be like, "Oh, I don't want to option this idea because I know Hollywood will be like, well, that's fine. Hold it in your back pocket, and it'll sit there for the rest of your life and do nothing."
Yeah, exactly. Go to a comic book store and flip through all the back issues at all the characters you've never heard of before.
Or be a little open-minded, work with other people and turn it into something and see what it turns into. Maybe it doesn't turn out great, but give it a little bit. But Highborn, that was the new Rob thing that he put in one of his latest comics. So Rob's got that floating around, and Rob's got a good agent, I'm guessing, after all the Deadpool stuff. Rob's got some good connection, so it'll be interesting to see if Rob gets another thing, one of his ideas afloat. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
If Prophet does decent, he will. Yeah. Then they're going to sign. They're going to, even if they never make the other movies, he'll still get option deals for another 6.
No, for
projects. Sure. Because they like to sign people up to stuff like that.
I think I knew Prophet had gotten optioned or something, but I don't know where it's being developed or any of that kind of stuff. So
I always confuse these two actors, Jake Gyllenhaal and the other guy that looks like Jake Gyllenhaal.
I think I heard the Jake Gyllenhaal thing with Prophet. So that sounds about right. And when you can get an actor's name attached to it, then it gets a little bit more juice going. And Jake Gyllenhaal is ripped out to the gills right now because he's doing a UFC movie.
Yes.
And so he is on all. Yep.
Perfect.
What's that?
Because they schedule that. They schedule those type of movies. If you got to bulk up and get ripped,
you might as well get 2 movies out of it. And Jake Gyllenhaal is ripped to the gills for this UFC movie. So it makes perfect sense if you're going to get that yoked. I mean, he's Hemsworth, Chris Evans yoked. And if you're going to get that built up, you want to get 2 movies out of it that are going to make you money, and profit would make perfect sense for. I mean, Gyllenhaal wouldn't be my first choice for profit,
no.
but he's an A-list name. He's an A-list
Yeah.
name. He's a good actor, and if you put a story around it that's like a sci-fi action adventure, who knows what it could turn into.
Jake did those 2 gun movies right in a row. He did
Ambulance, and the gun
where
movies
he's rocking the AR-15, and then he did Covenant.
Yeah,
which
he did
the
video game one, dust something in the desert. It's like an Arabic sands of time.
He did that for Disney years
and he got yoked for that one too. It didn't do very well because the story wasn't great, but it looked beautiful. It was a beautiful looking movie. So the story
was weak.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's what always happens is you get an A-list actor name, you get a big budget, and then you don't spend any money on having a good story underneath it, and it's like, oh, why did this fail? Well, let's just talk about Indiana Jones.
Prince of Persia. That's what it was.
So we all let Rob as my co-host, dealer's choice. We can go to, and I even have a special little tab for my own personal thing that I love. But we can go Indiana Jones first. You had already mentioned Brittany's story. That's a good like cross-pollination of Hollywood. And then we've got Elektra in Deadpool 3. So dealer's choice, Rob.
Let's go with Brittany because I have no idea what that story is.
The Brittany story?
Yeah, I have no clue.
All right, let me pull up. Let me make sure that I got it here. Okay, yep, I do got it. Brittany. This is like, and I'm a sports guy, so I'm not a huge NBA guy, but I'm an ESPN guy that follows like NBA highlights. But I'm not a big time NBA guy. But I know who the number 1 pick is. He's a 7'3" guy from the Euro leagues from France, and he's kind of, they always want to have some big name coming in the draft, and this is definitely here we go. This is definitely the number 1 guy in the NBA draft this year is this Wembanyama, and I'm gonna butcher his name, but I'm gonna go with Wembanyama, and he's French Euro leagues. He's 7'3" and a quarter. He's not a full 7'4" or 7'5", but yeah, he's tall, but he's athletic. He's not one of these flimsy guys, so he can kind of hold up. They say he has, for that height, he's got an NBA body. So how much does he weigh?
How much does he weigh? If he's 7'3" and if he's got to be muscular, he's got to at least be.
He's not muscular. He's muscular for 7'3".
So he's like toned.
Yeah, he's toned. He's not like He's still thin.
He's not like Patrick Ewing.
Yep. But he's got the opportunity to like put some weight on, and like if he can get to like Tim Duncan, and Tim Duncan is much shorter than 7'3", but like Kevin Garnett kind of like physicality, because those guys are always going to be thin. You can't bulk up when you're 7'3".
Oh, you can, but you got to have your team pay for it.
Yeah,
you got to have the team pay for the steaks and all the food.
Yeah, there's extra. Oh, believe me, they're paying for all of that stuff. They want this kid to fill out. But this video, we'll go through the video. Well, here, no, I'm gonna tell the story that I heard first. The story that I heard first was great. So it was Brittany just, saw the basketball player and knew he had been number 1 in the draft and just wanted to go up and say hi. And so she like runs up behind him, and this is Brittany's story that I'm relaying, and she taps him on the shoulder, and one of her security guards backhands her, knocks her to the ground, and knocks her glasses off. And Brittany is
one of her security guards, or one of his?
No, one of the NBA guys' security guards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Brittany just out of nowhere runs up, taps the guy on the shoulder, and one of the NBA security guards backhands her, knocks her glasses off, knocks her to the ground. So Brittany is distraught, and they're going into the Catch restaurant at Aria, which I've been by at the Catch restaurant. I have not been in the Catch restaurant, but that is a very nice area of downtown Vegas.
Oh yeah, I've gotten lost. My wife and I have gotten lost.
Oh yeah, you walk around the Aria. You can just walk around the Aria, and it's just beautiful. Like it's really nice resort hotel, whatever. So I can see this kind of area, or remember it anyways. And so Brittany, distraught after being like knocked to the ground or whatever, like collects herself. And this is the part of the story they don't cover as much. This is the part of the story I love. So she goes into the restaurant and just sits down at a table to collect herself. Little does Britney Spears know that the table she's sitting at is Pauly Shore's. But Pauly Shore had gotten up from his table to go use the restroom. So Pauly Shore comes back and sees Britney Spears at his table. And is like, weird. So, like, he had left his bag and, like, some of his personal stuff there. So he asked Britney Spears if he can just get his things back and she can have the table or whatever. And so, like, Pauly Shore collects his stuff and, like, is like, oh, that's strange, and just moves on. I love the fact that Pauly Shore was a part of this story because it is such an amazingly odd cross section of like pop culture celebrity. Number one NBA pick, Britney Spears, the pop singer from late 90s, early 2000s, and then Pauly Shore is still around. So he
looks homeless. He looks homeless half the time now.
If he was, I think because Pauly Shore's family does have money.
I think he still has money too. I don't think he's burned through it.
I think if he was homeless, it was by choice.
No, the way he's dressed, he looks homeless.
Pauly Shore doesn't give a shit. Pauly Shore is his mom owns like
the Comedy Store,
all the comedy stores through Southern California and stuff.
Yeah.
And those are money makers. And like Pauly Shore was a little rich kid, and like Pauly Shore
he had a run. Yeah, he had a run of movies.
He had his little shot at fame, but he was also like he didn't give a shit because he knew he had a fallback. So and it kind of came across that way. It was like Pauly Shore didn't give a shit. So
yeah, I saw him. I saw Pauly Shore at a comedy club in Tampa, and you could tell he knew he was a celebrity.
Yeah,
and it was half of his act was just the confidence that he could portray because he was famous at one point. So I'm not talking shit about him. I thought he was funny.
He was funny. Okay,
I just saw him on like Joe Rogan talking about hanging out with Nicolas Cage, and he looked like a homeless old lady.
Yeah,
because he
doesn't care.
That was his look he was going for. But
and when you're when you're an old dude that doesn't give a fuck, and you've got a bunch of money to fall back on, guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna go out in your sweatpants and your flip flops and your dirty old t-shirt and your ratty old hair, and you're not gonna care because you're set. So
people still know who you are.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have to think about the next gig.
No, he's not
chasing the gig.
Yeah,
he's not worried about.
But that was the Pauly Shore aspect of it was the like I was like, oh, why wouldn't there be Pauly Shore in this crazy ass story of Britney getting smacked? So I'll pull up and go full screen, and let's here. I wonder if I can make it even bigger if I go full screen in the window. Let me try to do that. Because, like you want to get as much of the video as we can because it is epically ridiculous. And, like, Britney, like, what are you doing, first of all?
She didn't think.
Well, that's the thing. She got excited.
She didn't think.
Yeah, she got excited and she wasn't. She didn't think the whole thing through, but yeah. So, and you can kind of see like this video is actually pretty decent. You can tell what happened. So here we go. Britney Spears running across Bellagio to the Catch restaurant to tap Wembanyama on the NBA first draft pick on the shoulder. So here we go. Oh, no, it's not going to play. Oh, why? Let me try. Here we go. Backhand into the face. Britney's stunned.
Who did?
Well, there's her husband. At some point, somebody. Oh, there's Britney. So there's Britney shouting. Oh, that's Britney Spears. They shout.
Who did?
That's American.
She thought because she's Britney Spears.
Oh yeah,
she could just run past the bodyguards.
Well, and they didn't even look. Look.
No, not at all.
Yep, and I can understand why, because she looks like any other blonde in Vegas running up to a celebrity. I want to know who the dude in the red pants is that just like totally shoved past her. So this is the after. That's awesome. And so that's the other great thing about Vegas is everything is going to be on camera. Like I'm not sure you can do anything in Vegas that isn't going to be on camera. So like just to like hear about it and then be able to see it, like somebody was already, filming that, knowing it's like, oh, something's going on. I'm going to get my camera out.
That dude definitely needs to start eating a lot more, or they're gonna look forward to beating the shit out of him.
Oh yeah, dude. When he gets 7'3", at 7'3", like I wouldn't even play him his first year. I would just put him in the weight room and give him as much food as I possibly can.
Yeah, I watched the actual show, and it was one of those really tall dudes. And he was drafted to some college out of high school. And the coach said that they had to get specific gym equipment that would fit him. Like he had special for bench press, all the machines. He had a special bar because his arms are, just the whole thing, like how complicated it was, how he was put on double food. He was supposed to eat 2 lunches, 2 dinners, all this crazy stuff. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I never heard of that guy again. So
he's been on
he probably couldn't handle it. He probably couldn't handle like, dude, I don't,
he's another one of these European players, so it's like they don't know
how good he is until he's going up against the NBA.
Right, exactly. And they also don't have as big a following here in the States when they don't come up through the college system. Because you play 2-3 years at Duke or North Carolina or UCLA or one of the big name schools. People, your name just starts to kind of get out there because he's been playing over in the Euro leagues and he's French. It's but literally, like, those dudes, like, yeah, like, I wouldn't play him his first year. I would get him in the gym. I would feed him as much food. I would put as much weight on him as I can, even if it slows him down, because at 7'3",
those legs, dude.
yeah,
People
it's
start
just like,
beating on you and pushing you over.
and it's just you're just begging for an injury. So it's just one of those things. So, but yeah, that was our Sports Center spot of the night for me and Rob, who are like totally a couple of guys who know everything about sports.
Oh yeah.
But things we do know about.
Oh.
So this is what I worked on a little bit today, because the rumor coming out through the rumor mill that we all follow, and it turns out some great information. Elektra is back for Deadpool 3, which, from the Fox movies, like, that's gold. I am down for Elektra. But the first thing it made me think of is, if we're getting Elektra back from the Fox movies, who else do I want back from the Fox movies?
Oh yeah.
And Olivia Munn did not get enough screen time in her X-Men movie.
No.
And I'm not sure there was an actress or actor who fit their role visually better than Olivia Munn as Psylocke. Like, that was like, to me, Olivia Munn as Psylocke she walked right off of the Jim Lee X-Men page, planted her stiletto foot on my chest, and like threw up her psionic knife and stabbed it into my brain a couple times.
Oh yeah.
And I was, thank you, can I have another? So,
and she knows comic books.
Yeah,
she actually would. She said, while on set, because they showed up behind the scenes making of that horrible X-Men movie she was in, and she said that she tried to talk to the writer and the director about the character in the comic, how the character is in the comics, and they said, "Oh, we don't want to talk. We don't want to hear anything about the comic
we don't want to hear from you." Yeah.
No, we don't want to know anything about the comic books. We don't follow what they did in the comic books. This is the movie, and you're just like.
It's just typical Hollywood bullshit of like, we don't want to hear about what's in the comics. We want to make our shitty version of this that craps all over it and then bombs at the box office.
Yeah, we'll do a poor version of it. We will rip off the story. We will do a good job with this.
My hope is, with all of this, because a lot of actors are, I mean, obviously, Jennifer Gardner coming back as Elektra, like, nobody saw that coming or was begging for it, but I would beg for some Olivia Munn back as Psylocke. So, and how much would I like to see Olivia Munn versus Jen Garner as Elektra versus Psylocke? That's a fight. That's a fight I'd pay good money to see.
How cool would it be to actually have them introduce the first of the mutant stuff, and it's Psylocke in a Deadpool movie?
Yeah,
because they're introducing Mr. Fantastic and those characters in Doctor Strange was shitting on the fans. Right, it was so stupid, and then they got killed. It was like, it was dumb. It was like, wait a minute, these guys, they killed Thanos, but they stand in front of Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they retarded? What the fuck is wrong with them?
Yeah.
It was, it was just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Why even bother if you're going to make this movie?
And the thing is, I have a lot of faith in Ryan Reynolds. Like,
he actually cares.
The guy cares about the fans. He's an actor who is also a creative. He's a writer. He's read all the stuff. He's read all the comics. He listens to the fans online. Like, there's a reason. And he's had major success, like, beyond the movies. Like, what he's doing in the business world with the Mint Mobile, with his aviation gin. Like, his movie career could die tomorrow, and Ryan Reynolds would be richer than 95% of the people on the planet. Like the guys.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well,
so he's got clout and he's got
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
And so I hope that this is not the end of Deadpool. Like this is not a swan song. Like I could see Ryan Reynolds and Disney and Kevin Feige, because when you see successful people, the last thing you want to do is get rid of successful people. You want to work. What you want to do is you want to work with really successful people because things are going to work out better. So
that's why they moved up
just
Deadpool.
The beginning. Yeah,
they moved Deadpool schedule up probably because they're like, holy crap, we need a big hit. We're running out of money.
Oh, that's
we're in trouble. We need it in the quarter.
Yeah, they need a hit, and if you gave Ryan Reynolds the X universe to develop, like you give Favreau and Filoni the Mandalorian universe to develop within, and then Feige's got the main MCU thing, and it's like you need that creative force, but you can't cover everything. You know what I mean? So you need to find these guys that are creatives, but also have the kind of the like willpower. And I could see that Ryan Reynolds being that for the X universe.
Well, you could see that he gives a shit.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
You can see how they treated Colossus. Look at that. Colossus is a million times better in Deadpool than he was in the X-Men movies. Look at Juggernaut.
God, yes.
We got to see a computer animated gigantic Juggernaut. Look at Cable. Cable was awesome. He got Thanos to be Cable. So you can tell that when he gave a shit, you know.
Yeah.
So
no, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Didn't he spend like 7 years trying to get Deadpool? I think he spent like 7 or 9 years trying to get Deadpool made.
Oh yeah.
So he cares. Yeah.
Like Deadpool was dead in the literally, no pun intended, it was dead in the water. And he's talked about how they leaked the script, and then the studio gave him a little bit of money to do a little preview thing, and then somebody leaked that out. And I remember that Deadpool like CGI animated the intro with him in the truck, and that got leaked online, and the fans lost it. Like the fans were like, and then Fox finally listened, and that's how that first Deadpool movie came to be. So like Ryan Reynolds, he's not scared to go outside of the normal pathways. Like he's like, we can make this happen, or we can like just sit and tuck our legs. So
I'm not even a fan of that Deadpool. I like the Ninja Deadpool a lot more than the Bugs Bunny Deadpool, but I have to give him credit for how successful it's become and how much he's how he the movie treated characters like Juggernaut and Colossus. Those are two of my favorite Marvel characters. So to actually see them like computer animated and actually like someone actually cared, not Colossus's metal for 2 seconds.
And I always think with the big blockbuster summer action movies, having an element of humor in there, like we can take ourselves seriously, but we don't need to take ourselves so seriously. And like he gets the right tone. Like Thor: Love and Thunder for me was garbage because they didn't get that right humor tone. They made it. They tried to make it way too slapstick.
Oh it's ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
But like Deadpool like pushes it with his all of his quips and whatever, but it like pushes it, but then it's still a solid action movie underneath it. So
it's also the theme, ahead of time. They advertise it. It's not like they advertise it as a serious action movie, and then you go and he's constantly making jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a big part of it is like you said, it's the tone, but it's how they market it. Because man, dude, they market some movies so skeezy. I mean, look at Marvel. Even like Marvel's Captain Marvel, they made that everyone think that was like necessary to watch.
Oh yeah,
Infinity. It had nothing to do with Infinity. They just
they
shoved that out to try, and they made $1 billion off of a crappy movie.
They tucked that movie in the perfect spot, and it was going to make money no matter what. So
yep,
yeah, and that's the thing is like everybody's looking at the new Marvels trailer, Randy, and yeah, nobody. There's not a ton of excitement for Marvels. I think it looks
that
like
Marvels movie would have been successful if all the other ones had been
leading up to it.
Because then they could have gotten away with a goofy Disney version,
Fury's Secret Invasion is dead in the water. Like nobody, it's on episode 3. Nobody gives a shit about that thing.
Yeah.
So Disney Plus is dying a slow death. Nobody likes She-Hulk. They've got this Echo movie or thing on Disney Plus that's coming up. But I've already heard they had to do reshoots on it because the thing looked so bad. And it's like, who gives a damn about Echo? Like I
don't know what it is.
It's a spin-off character from Daredevil during the Bendis run, I think.
Oh god.
It's a character nobody gives a shit about.
No. So how many people actually care about Daredevil, and then they're spinning off what a side character?
Yeah. Well, no, they're like Marvel is dying on the vine right now. Marvel's looks like it's dead. Like I'm hoping Deadpool will inject real enthusiasm, and then I'm hoping they'll kind of pull their heads out and be like, we don't need to kill the golden goose. Like if we get good writers and people that care about the subject matter, the golden goose can keep laying eggs, but
I think they're afraid. I think some of the comic book lawsuits that have already happened and that are happening right now, hint, hint. I think that's why they said they didn't want to. They started hiring writers to write the Marvel Studios way, and not writers who knew anything about the comic books. Because I think they're getting nervous that when your movie makes $1 billion and everybody watched it in the world, I think they're nervous about a big law firm picking up, and saying, hey, we will do this for free and you can pay us on the back end. Yes, because a lot of people have said that they looked at Marvel vouchers.
Yeah.
They're a friggin' joke. They're not legal. So this freelancer thing is ridiculous. So they're
waiting for some of the artists to come out with lawsuits and
or class action, like 6 of their most popular, like Chris Claremont, Walter Simonson, Jim Lee, like a handful of guys who did a bunch of creative stuff.
Well, like Ditko's family and a couple of others have already come after Doctor Strange and Iron Man.
Yes. Yep.
So they're built a little bit on a house of cards, and I think you're right. They are worried about having to defend this stuff in a real court of law when it comes to the copyrights and stuff.
Can you imagine showing the jury those vouchers and saying, well, this is why we own it all?
Yeah.
And they would look at that tiny little voucher that we all had to sign, and the jury would be like, what the fuck is this? And the lawyer would just rip it apart.
Yeah, this isn't. There's any legal precedence for this. This is just people saying stuff on a piece of paper and you agreeing to it. But
this is people just trying to get their check and you taking advantage of poor artists.
Yeah,
and that's probably exactly how it'd look.
That's more accurate than anything. So what do we think, Rob? What do we think about Jennifer Garner after all this time from a Deadpool movie? So I'm assuming Affleck isn't going to be in this Deadpool movie because Marvel has already established their new Daredevil. But getting Jennifer Aniston just out of nowhere, floating in the void, to come back and Jennifer Garner, lovely, lovely woman. So I see this as kind of fun. But what do you think about it?
I says this tells us more about the story and how we get Wolverine that we see an older Elektra.
Okay.
We also, what they're going to do is they're going to do some of that guerrilla style marketing where Jennifer Garner is going to do the talk show circuit, talking about how she got in shape being over 40.
Oh, yeah, and
to
they
be in
love
the
that.
Electra's.
Yeah, that
the
brings in
Electra
your
physique.
female demographic is an older woman. I've gotten great shape, worked out, and got myself in the best shape that I've been. Yeah, they did that. Was it? Remember Demi Moore for the Charlie's Angels movies?
Yes.
Yeah, and she looked fantastic. I mean,
oh yeah.
Demi Moore looked better than she looked when she was in her 20s when she came back. But like that works. You do. I mean, Jennifer Garner will be a staple on all the afternoon talk shows, and yeah, no, you're right, Rob. That's a great point on that.
And are we seeing? Because we all know Elektra came back from the dead.
Right?
Are we going to see Deadpool going to different characters, going, "How'd you come back from the dead? I got to get Wolverine back."
Oh, that's the thing.
Is that like half the movie's going to be him trying to resurrect Wolverine?
That's the thing, is they can do so much fun stuff with it, because Ryan Reynolds and I can't remember the two writers. He got his 2-writer team, but then Ryan is involved in it. But those guys like are hardcore fans. Like they get it. They understand the flexibility that you can have with a comic book movie, bringing people back from the dead, whatever, making jokes about it. And they get the sensibility of that, so you can have fun with that then. So yeah, I could totally see something like that where Elektra comes back from the dead and he's like, I brought you back from the dead. How do I get Wolverine? How do I get Logan? Kind of.
Yeah, we know this is a one-off. We know this is just for the story. Oh, here's a thought. What if the Hand steals Wolverine's body to bring him back from the dead?
Well, I gotta think.
And Deadpool goes to Jennifer Garner's Elektra and says, we got to rescue Wolverine. And I don't know anything about the Hand.
You always need bad guys. Like if you can't have Nazis, the next best thing is the Hand.
Can you imagine though? Wolverine, Deadpool, and Elektra versus the Hand.
That's
freaking Deadpool movie.
Makes 100% sense. And then you just got like a bazillion ninjas jumping around, and you can do all kinds of like old. You don't have to do like full on storyline parts, but you can like take old bits from like some of the classic comics.
Yes,
you can do the and throw them in there and throw. No, this is probably the first Marvel movie in a long time that I'm genuinely excited about, because this has the energy of, like, they tried to trick you with Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, they did.
And they did a little fun stuff, but not to the point. This feels like they're gonna go full out. You know what I mean? And
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
At this point, they kind of need to, because they need to inject some energy in the MCU. So they need to they need to throw stuff out there that's gonna. Because look at what Spider-Verse is doing. Spider-Verse, people are so stoked about that. Movie's making a ton of money for Sony, and Spider-Verse is throwing out all the alternate universes and all the fun stuff that the fans want to see. And it's like, that has to resonate with producers. Is like, we've got Deadpool, we've got Ryan Reynolds, we got Hugh Jackman. Like, this can be as big as we want it to be if we just don't, crap all over it with limitations and stuff. Like, they could spin anything out of this. They've already broached the multiverse. The multiverse is out there, so that's not even a like, oh, can we or can't we? Like, people the normal Joe Blow fan going to the movie theater that doesn't read comics or anything, at least understands the concept of the multiverse. They're not going to be like, oh, what am I watching? They're like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, there's different versions of characters, and they're all in these universes, and like, I don't care. I'll eat some popcorn and watch the movie. So,
and Logan, they have to reset from that shit movie Logan, because Logan got rid of all the mutants in that story.
No,
they put shit in the water. So it's like, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, so if Logan, like, I know it's because of a miniseries and Logan dies at the end. What if it's a huge success? you've just set up a timeline where there's no other mutants. And the New Mutants, there were a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
God, kids' stories are the worst.
Yeah.
New Mutants, the comic book sucked until Liefeld came on. Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Garner is 51. This role would be a one-off. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
absolutely true. Like, I don't expect a new Elektra series with Jennifer Garner. I expect her to be awesome in this one. Thing.
Yeah.
And like, she's a lovely woman who's taking care of herself. So I'm also 51. So I mean, me and Jennifer Garner, like, I know we kind of look like almost twinsies.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I'm also 51. I'm also 51. Yeah. Look at that. We're all
71.
We're all 51. Yeah, we're all 51.
71 was a good year, man.
No, it was a terrible year.
But yeah. So yeah, I've got I've got high hopes for Deadpool 3. I've got a lot of faith in Ryan Reynolds and that writing team. And I mean, Disney's gonna make it an R movie. It really sounds like Disney is not like setting limits on what they can do.
Yeah, they're so desperate. They're gonna let them do anything.
That's the thing is, like, it's a great time for Deadpool, which has been like, it's been hugely successful and way more successful than anybody thought it would be. Yeah. And like, Disney is desperate for a hit. Like, Disney is. I'm not sure that Disney could be more desperate for a hit right now than all of the shit. And this one doesn't have the fingers in it that some of the other movies, Lucasverse movies, have had in it. Mm-hmm. And Kevin Feige, say what you will about him, the majority of his movies have been really good and been money makers. It seems like they've been floundering after Endgame, but maybe this is a course correct. This is a new creative energy in there with Ryan Reynolds. So I got fingers crossed. I'm hoping for a good movie here. I don't want to see the end of the MCU any sooner than it needs to have Grandma Elektra.
No, I don't.
You can call her Grandma, but I won't kick her out for eating crackers.
Part of me knows that comic books haven't done better because of the movies. Yeah, comic book conventions have done better because of the movies. But comic books haven't at all.
Yeah, conventions. The conventions are like any kind of convention producer, like they're loving the movie stuff.
But I'm afraid of, if they shut down all the movies, they're going to just say, why are we even doing comics? They'll just hold on to the properties for merchandising. You know what I mean? I
think there's a chance of that happening just for cost cutting moves for the big corporations.
Yep.
But I don't think Marvel and DC would ever fully disappear, because there's licensing and there's companies out there that would license to do the comics from the bigger corporations. So I think worst case scenario, the big corporations were just like, we don't need to spend money on editorial staff. We don't need to spend money on offices. If Warner and DC or Warner and Disney just really, they just gutted ESPN of like a ton of talent, and ESPN's a moneymaker for them. But I could see the scenario where Disney or Warner Brothers is like, we don't need to be paying for office space and for an entire editorial staff. I could see where they closed it down, but they would license it. They're gonna keep making money. It would be a revenue stream to license it out to somebody else, give them all the headaches, and then they would make income off of it. So there's a chance that wouldn't happen, but
that's not a positive for anybody who is a creator, and that's not a positive for fans, because you're never going to get any really good stories again, because we know how the license.
I wouldn't say that. Well, it would actually free things up, because anybody who was spending money for those licenses would want those
though.
comics to sell. They would want to make money off of them.
But they never
do. The problem
spend,
right now.
No, they spend so much money on the license, they can't afford to hire a good team.
Oh, you can get a good team without spending money. You can get people that care about writing and drawing comics that aren't going to like charge you through their nose because they still love comics. You're going to get rid of a lot of these people that are like just in comics to be in comics. You're going to get more people that like care about comics working on them. And the other thing is those people that are licensing them are going to want those comics to sell. So they're going to put out their best material. The problem with Marvel and DC right now is there is zero incentive for them to sell their comics. Like to like, if your comic's selling like 30,000 right now, there is zero incentive for them to try and get their comic to sell 40,000 or 50,000 or whatever the old numbers were. Like there is zero incentive at editorial. There is zero incentive. Like their incentive right now is to stay under the radar. Just keep doing what we're doing. Don't ruffle any feathers. Keep collecting checks. Make sure we're in with whatever political affiliation there is right now. Don't have anybody speaking out because we're not like this or that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there is zero incentive for the people that are making comics to sell more comics.
Well, but we already see zero incentive for writers to write a comic book for $2,000 and then see it stolen in a $1 billion movie. And if you license that, like if you license, so then you're going to license those characters. So now as a writer, you have zero incentive to create any new characters because who's going to own it? Yeah. And you'll have even less rights. You literally now it will only be page rate. Like, can you imagine how hard it would be to get a royalty out of a company that's licensing Spider-Man?
Yeah.
So like maybe Todd McFarlane, because if Todd McFarlane hired Greg Capullo to draw Spider-Man or Todd McFarlane drew Spider-Man, he's going to write it anyways. Yeah. So that would be the only reason Todd McFarlane would license Spider-Man or Wolverine or Batman. Yeah.
I don't even know. I haven't even seen Capullo do anything in a while. What's Randy?
He did the Spider-Man, or no, he did the Batman Spawn. And he said that he was supposed to get 8 weeks to draw it, and then he ended up getting 5 weeks. So that was his excuse. I saw some pages that looked really cool, but I didn't buy it. There's no way I was going to buy it. I'm like,
I didn't even know. Did it already came out?
Yeah, it came out. It came out last year, I think, last summer.
Oh, okay.
Why would I buy?
I totally missed that.
Yeah, why would I buy Capullo of today when I have Capullo Spawn, where him and Miki were working 3 times harder?
Oh yeah,
with way more detail. You know, so it's like the last McFarlane I bought was Batman Spider-Man that he drew.
Yeah.
So, you know, him drawing covers on the computer. Oh, big deal. You know, I'm not buying an entire comic book for a McFarlane cover.
No.
Now, I would buy a comic book that was all McFarlane covers, where they collected all of his covers together. I'd buy that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was one of my favorite comic books. Was they collected all of his Spider-Man covers? Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Oh,
I never saw the Marvel Tales McFarlane Spider-Man covers.
Oh yeah, no, he had some
those
cool
were
stuff.
Awesome.
That was a great idea.
Mm-hmm. That Spider-Man poster book came out in like 92 or something.
Yeah,
I think it was out at the same time as the Marvel trading cards. I had it, and then I took out the staple so I could have all the all over the place. And now, that was.
And then they're scattered.
20.
Where did I put them? What closet or like? Yeah.
Well, every time I moved, I lived in a lot of different apartments.
Oh yeah.
While I was working, freelancing. So.
That's what always happens. So speaking of great characters, great franchises that we all love.
Poor Indy.
That just like and I hate to pour dirt on somebody's grave, but Indiana Jones, it was, Crystal Skull was your swan song. Like nobody, like it's looking more and more like nobody was interested in bringing this back. And the box office is a cruel mistress because it'll tell you the truth whether you're ready to accept it or not. But yeah, the second week of Indiana Jones gets beat out by the fifth Insidious movie, The Red Door.
Oh, shitty low budget horror
A
piece of crap.
low budget
Indy.
horror movie that I think the budget for it was 13 to 14 million, and it's gonna bring in 31 to 32 million dollars this week. So,
wow.
And I mean, very little advertising or whatever, but this is a horror movie that's had a really good following, and Sony is producing this one or distributing it, I think.
And
So yeah,
Blumhouse
when it comes
only
to
makes
horror
low budget
movies at the
movies.
box office, Sony resurrected its track record this weekend with the opening of the fifth goal. So this is a fifth goal against Indiana Jones's fifth goal, Insidious: The Red Door. 32 million domestic, and it crushed Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny in its second week, which only did 26 million in week 2. And Indiana Jones was set up for this 2-week period to have that leg room to like win. Win 2 opening weekends. It could barely muster a win in its first weekend, and then it gets destroyed in the second weekend. So, word of mouth is like killing Indiana Jones right now. And it
wasn't a bad movie though. It was a fun movie.
I don't think that's what the problem is. I think it might have been a good movie. I think moviegoers have lost faith in Disney because Disney has sat at the woke stump for so long, pushing that woke agenda. I haven't seen Indiana Jones yet. I know there's like the tall, gangly British chick in there who just one look at her, I hate her because she looks like woke agenda all over the place. But the other thing is
but she's not that way in the movie though.
Okay.
That's not and her character in the movie is she's a thief.
Okay.
Like she's not like when they said, oh, they're setting her up to replace Indy.
Yeah.
Not really. She's
not really
thief.
Okay.
No,
and that's good to hear. That's good to hear because I still want to go see it.
Yeah.
But I also think part of the problem is like Crystal Skull was the closeout for Indy. And I don't think there was any sort of enthusiasm for we need to bring Indiana Jones back. The 20 and 30-year-olds they don't
want to see an 80-year-old Indy.
They don't even know or care who Indiana Jones is.
Oh no, they do. They do because TBS only, you know what I mean? TBS reshows every movie.
Yeah.
Every month. So the Indiana Jones are all over TBS and TNT, the Star Wars movies. So they know that stuff. You'd be surprised. All the younger people know that stuff just because cable has nothing to show you besides.
Right.
Half of cable is just replaying movies from the last 30 years. So.
But it just feels like there wasn't any kind of great we can't wait for Indiana Jones. I think they overestimated the appeal of Indiana Jones this far out.
They did
from the original.
I think someone's lying. I think someone's lying about all the budgets too. I don't see how all these movies. I see that how so many movies now are 3/4 of the movie is CGI.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be surprised if you find out that the CGI studios that Disney owns the CGI. I think it might be like the mafia. The mafia takes over a restaurant and then steals all the profits and runs money laundering through it. I won't be surprised if we'll find out in the end when they say that they spent $150 million on CGI. You find out it was never that much because all you hear about is the CGI artists complain about how they're working 90 hours a week and their pay keeps going down.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I don't believe it. I don't believe anything from Hollywood anymore.
And the only thing I did hear about this is like that the production costs of the movie were pushing 300,000. So if that is accurate, this movie's there's no way this movie is gonna and that's I think that's a little bit of what Warner Brothers is doing now is like we can't have these high production costs to make these movies because the return shows that like they're not going to make this money back. This isn't 10, 15 years ago where you could have like a $200 million budget and your movie would go out there and make $800 million. Like times have changed.
It's not 2019.
Exactly.
Did you just get a spark or something in the background or a flash?
No, I might have. Well, that was thunder.
Oh, that was lightning. We saw lightning.
Oh yeah, I'm in a big thunder and lightning storm right now. So
yeah, it's not 2019, and people can, if you wait 30 some days, you can watch Indy 5 on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, and Disney Plus.
Why would you spend
any of the streaming stuff? So it's like the
most families
for seeing it in the theaters is gone.
No, the families are gonna save themselves $100, and the kids can watch it on Disney Plus. People my age, we grew up with Indy, so maybe we went to watch.
Yeah,
and that's it. You know, well, like my wife and I, we went to a noon movie on a Friday. It was we were the youngest people in the theater, but the theater was it was probably half full. But it was all older people. I bet no one under the age of 30 went to watch it unless they're huge Indy fans. Like if you went on Twitter, there's all these people saying how great it was, but they're in like an Indy costume saying how much they love the movie, or they're in front of the movie poster and they took a photo. So you know that they're huge fans. They're not that.
And this is the thing that I don't understand how the big movie studios like Warner Brothers or Disney don't get is like your audience is 20 and 30-year-olds for the movie theater. Like you'll get older people out, but your audience is 20 and 30-year-olds. Those are the people
that's who will pay,
and that they're going to spend money, and like they'll maybe come out for some of these older franchises, and they'll still show up for the Marvel movies or whatever. But it has to be a good Marvel movie, and if it's a bad Marvel movie, the word's going to get out real fast. And it's going to do good.
Yeah, people say wait for Disney Plus.
I'm curious about is where the next big franchise is going to come from. Like they haven't developed stuff for these 20 and 30-year-olds. Like I don't know. Like there's
they have it's low budget. It's Blumhouse and low budget horror movies.
No, that's those and the horror movie always has its niche and it will always do well. But I'm like talking like a big blockbuster franchise, an Indiana Jones, a Marvel, what's some other big franchises? The Jurassic Parks, like there hasn't been a new Marvel is the newest franchise that came out with Iron Man in 2008. Like since 2008, like Harry Potter was its own thing, but like there is this younger generation of 20 and 30-year-old moviegoers that doesn't feel like they've got their own thing yet, their own franchise, something that they grew up on as kids. And like there seems to be not anything new coming out for them yet.
It might be part of it is because a lot of them are having to move back with their parents.
Yeah.
So the studios are worried about them. If they can't afford to live in an apartment by themselves, then how are you going to get?
How are we depending on them?
Yeah, how are we going to get because they keep raising the movie ticket prices, and now to buy theater food that's 10x what it would cost if you just made the food.
Well, there's a reason that Netflix became as popular as it was, because it was these kids that had no money to go see movies or buy cable or anything could have $8 a month, and they could have entertainment. And like that was how Netflix was built up into what it is today. They've
and
changed
the whole
it some to that
watching
point.
watching it all
But
weekend. You can
all
watch,
these poor college kids were like, "Oh, I can spend $8 this month, and I can have shows to watch, and I don't have to pay for cable and all of this stuff." So
I honestly, I said it before, I would have given up as soon as COVID hit. I would have been like a movie studio. I'm like, we're out of the movie business. We're going to be we're going streaming. And they're like, well, that might be a hard road. That might be a tough. I'm like, compared to movie theaters and how much they charge.
But I think there's still an audience there, but you need to have the content. I think the audience is still there. I think the audience is still there, but you need to have the content, and I don't think there's new content that's putting asses in seats.
Well, I know that they expanded because I read an article and they were talking about how movie theaters used to be two theaters, and now there's movie theaters that are 20 movie theaters, and they're saying that the theaters kept telling the studios they needed more content. Hollywood convinced movie theaters to expand to these giant theaters with 20 theaters, and then all of a sudden there's not enough content, and that's why you would start seeing a lot of lower budget shitty movies coming to the theater. And then of course, then if you're putting them in the theater, then you have to advertise them, so then there's money being spent on marketing for movies that they were literally spending more money marketing a movie than they did making it. I see movie theaters going to be just as hard to find in a couple of years as a comic book store. Unfortunately,
I'm scared you're right. I
love movie theaters and I love comic book stores.
I do too. I love going to the theater. I don't want to see it go away, but it's been poorly managed on a couple of different levels.
Yeah.
Marcus, I would love to see like more of the Jennifer, not Garner, Jennifer Lawrence movie, like those mid-range raunchy comedies that you don't have to invest a ton of money into, but that'll put asses in the seats. Like
that's
that.
The one that's out right now.
No hard feelings.
Yes.
I want to go see that movie just because there hasn't been a movie like that in a while.
No.
Like the old American Pie movies and stuff. Guess what? Those movies made an assload of money. And it's like, Step Brothers, Old School, like those kind of fun comedies where you don't have to have a giant CGI budget. You just have to write a fun comedy, and it makes you $100 million or something. So guess what? That's a real profitable freaking movie right there.
As long as you don't spend $80 million marketing it, they got to calm down. Well, that's the thing on the advertising.
And it's like the studios have to be a little bit smarter with how they're spending their money. It's like you can't just throw money hand over fist just because you're making it. It's like, no, you got to tighten the purse strings right now. So,
well, part of that's the contract. You market the hell out of it because you get most of the money for the first 2 weeks from the theater. And Marcus, streaming's not dying. It's just that they're charging too much.
Yeah.
You can't charge $10 for Paramount Plus, and there's 50 other streaming channels. I think you can. Same with HBO Max. You can't charge $15 a month so that we can watch the same effing Batman movies in cartoons over and over again every month. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, and Randy's right here. This writer strike right now is like it's going to be reality TV central in the fall because it's already too late. Like they're not filming shows right now for September. So it's going to be like Celebrity, Family Feud, and The Pyramid. Yes. And I mean, the fall schedule of TV shows is going to be all of these reality shows and stuff because there's no writing going on. There's no new shows coming on. And the thing was, there wasn't like I like that sitcom Ghosts. I like that. I can't name another show on the main networks that I like, that I watch, that's a written show other than that one. So it was already really thin pickings to me for the main networks and having live scripted shows. And now it's just going to be a desert. Like, I got to think that there's just producers scrambling to come up with whatever reality there's going to be. Like, maybe they need to come up with another Bachelorette, and maybe they can have like dancing with like the people that weren't really stars or something. But
I listened to a producer who's actually in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
He says that he made so much money the last writer strike because he only produces reality shows. So he's waiting for when the writer strike. He said it's going to take another few weeks, but Hollywood will be so desperate. He says he'll make all of his money for the next 10 years in the next year.
If you're a producer on a reality show or you have like a good concept or something, like right now, it's like this is your payday, because it's going to be come September 9th or whenever they launch like the fall season.
Yeah,
it's going to be reality shows. It's going to be Celebrity Chef. It's going to be $100,000 Pyramid and
I hate that
Family Feud and Celebrity Wheel of Fortune. Like that's all they got right now.
Racing Psychosis. He says he's going to be watching dirt racing and flow racing on flow. I don't know what dirt racing is. Is he talking about motocross?
Yeah, maybe.
Psychosis, are you talking about motocross?
Well, and I swear I watch more videos on TikTok than I watch on like my satellite TV or any of my streaming. I'll go to bed
a lot. Yeah.
But I'll stream, but I like watch TikTok videos and stuff, because their algorithms, they figure out what you like. All of a sudden I'm getting animal videos and like cosplay stuff from conventions and all the kind of comic book stuff and everything. And it's like, that's better than watching TV now. So it's like, it's a changing landscape right now. And who knows where it's going to end up. But yeah, the writer's strike is going to kill written TV right now. And man, like everybody wants to complain about it, but AI written sitcoms, like
I would like to tell Hollywood right now that I have no problem writing during the writing strike.
Well, that's the thing is like, I'll write you a show. I've been a creative entity in comics, and so has Rob for 20, 30 years. Like these writers that you got. Yeah. The writers that you got, they weren't getting you very good ratings anyway, so maybe you should try out some new people and get some scabs in there. But I'll scab out. I don't give a shit about those guys. They don't. They never did anything for me. But
honestly, they talk about how comic book writers make more money than a TV writer, and I'm like, no, that's bullshit. Only if the comic book writer is writing $4 a month.
I saw Mike Barron post something where somebody was posting page rates for artists, writers, letters, blah blah blah, and they posted the writer's page rate as $100 a page, and Mike Barron replied, in 1989 the page rate for writers in Marvel and DC was $100 a page. In 2023. The page rate for writers at Marvel and DC was $100 a page. So, dude, 23, 33, 30, 34, 35 years later, you can count on that $100 a page for a writer's thing.
When I broke into Marvel, my page rate was $80 a page. I haven't worked for Marvel in over a decade. But my last page rate for Marvel was $135 a page. And I hear that when it comes to inkers, there's two page rates, $135 a page and $100 a page. But I'm pretty sure if they're getting you from Spain or Brazil in your inking, I bet it's a lot less than that.
That's probably 80, 90 maybe.
Or 70.
70. Well, if you're outside of the United States and you're working for Marvel and DC, you're probably working for under $100.
There was a Spanish studio that was doing pencils, inks, and colors for
total
like $80 a page for all of it.
For everything together,
Yes. And
And
Rob
they were
Liefeld
loving
talks
it.
about
They were loving it. They were like,
yes.
give us more work and we'll take care of everything for you. And editors like got all those headaches off their hands and just has it. Yeah, like that's how comic books work. They're not looking for the next guy they can pay more money to.
No,
They're
no, they
looking
could
for
just
the
get Art
next guy that
Adams
they
to
can pay
draw
less
the
money.
cover. Yeah, Art Adams would
Oh
draw
yeah,
a cover.
an Art Adams
Mark
cover,
Brooks
and then
or
throw interiors to South American or European that are
Yep.
like cheap ass rates. And
yeah, exactly. So
yeah, that's what
there you go.
Pirate Queen is
Second.
sitcom though. I like that idea. Agents,
Dude.
studios, producers, come and talk to me.
Hey, can you
I've got all
imagine
kinds of stuff.
if you do it like Scream Queen style, where it's supposed to be low budget on purpose, so it makes it even funnier and goofier, like straight up like Adult Swim style, but live action.
It's flexible. You could take that in any kind of genre, like a producer or a director has an idea. Like it's a flexible character that could fit into like a lot of genres that you could do stuff with it. So yeah, I'm open. Call me Clintoliski at AOL.com. Hit me up. I'm open for business.
I just need to check for the Death Raider cartoon.
Oh, speaking of, let's before like I normally do, let's cover.
Oh.
Yeah, let's actually cover campaigns here.
Oh, very nice.
God forbid I oops, what did I do here? Remove. Oh, geez.
Oh, that's cool. SF Gaming says he's getting the Anna cover for Death Raider. And
nice.
SF Gaming, and for everybody else who grabbed the Anna cover, I have a special colorist who's doing the colors for it right now. And I've worked with him in the past at DC. So Clint can probably guess who's coloring it, but don't guess. We'll let it be a big surprise when I get the colors.
Exactly. Death Raider graphic novel by Rob Hunter. Grabbing the Anna cover of Death Raider next payday. Can't wait. That's awesome.
That's very awesome. Thank you very much. I've been working a little part-time on that while I'm working on another project that helps pay the bills. But tomorrow I'm back full-time on Death Raider pages. And I've been turning in some pages while I've been able to only hit them part-time. So
you've been posting stuff and it looks awesome.
Thank you. There's going to be the next couple of weeks will be a windfall of updates on Death Raider. So.
Nice stuff.
Because I actually have pages. I've got pages in the flat files. I just haven't finished.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's the first thing I'm going to do is got I think 8 pages I should just finish, and I'll show those off and then work on the next set of pages.
Nice. I love the Hercules page.
Oh, dude, you know what? Yeah. I know part of it is I've never got tested for ADHD, but I know part of it I do get excited for. No, it's not Gabe. But I did work with Gabe before.
Yep. Not Gabe though.
No, I would be super excited. I have to tell myself, dude, you can't just get super excited for Hercules and give Hercules all these cool pages. It's still a Death Raider book, and it will be a Death Raider book.
Sure.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing that.
There's always the next thing, there's and then there's them, it's you're building towards all this, so you get excited about introducing the new characters and
and Hercules will be the star of Death Raider, because Death Raider, the title goes initially changes to Death Raider. It officially gets turned into Death Raider Wars, not Death Raider, and issue 2 will be starring Hercules. Death Raider is still in it. It's just that we're going to have a focus, half the issue will be Hercules because of this. What happens in
it's just the new
Death Raider Wars issue 1,
and it's going to have both of them in there. So you want to find out all about both of them.
Yeah, and it's going to be present story. It's not like all of a sudden, issue 2 of Death Raider Wars is a friggin' flashback. I'm not doing that.
No,
it's just that they will be separated in the story. So we'll see Hercules as he's kicking ass, and then we'll see Death Raider as he's kicking ass, just in different locations.
Awesome. Here, let's I'll play the trailer here. Let me pull it up.
Oh, I don't know who Adrian Smith is, but cover B, is that it's the skull, the tune-up cover, I think is what Psychosis is talking about. That cover turned out really well. I'm really happy with the way that worked out. The way the story has progressed, that in the trailer, the shot of where you're looking through the chain link fence at Death Raider in the alley with the back of the robot, that got pulled from the book. Like, that's not even going to be in the book. No, that's going to be like it might be a double page pinup in the back, or it might end up being a back cover or something like that. But that's just the way that the pacing was coming out.
Just because you added so much stuff to the story.
Yeah, especially because that initial sequence of events in the beginning of the book, it started. I expanded it a lot farther than I wanted to, and I didn't like the way that paced out because I had so much more story. Because I do show in the first issue, I do see when he's there's a page right there where you do see him as a soldier. So I already have that flashback set up. So I'm like, I was afraid I was going to start eating from pages from the other parts of the story, because that's how I've built. That's how I built the book. Is I start drawing the key sequences of the story, and that way, if I want to expand it, I can expand it, or if I want to shrink it, I can shrink it. But that key sequence in the beginning of the book where we see Death Raider, beating on the robots, it started to expand farther than I wanted it to, because it's not the most important. It's the introduction. It's not the most important part of the book. So But here are these are the evil cyborgs that we will see a fun confrontation with Death Raider and Anna and them. And the main chick, she's the main chick in the story because she's linked to Death Raider, and you'll find out in the story why and how she's linked to Death Raider. I mean, dude, she's got a skull makeup on purpose.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't know why she made fashioned her makeup that way.
Yeah.
But she'll start to figure out that she did it. There's a whole reason why she's got the skull makeup on and Death Raider has the skull mask.
Oh, so she's figuring out her kind of backstory as it goes along too.
Yeah, because
they get Death Raider.
No. They're all linked, and they're all trying to figure shit out because they all got fucked up in the same explosion.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
These were these cyborgs were in the same explosion that Death Raider loses his legs. So
nice. No,
so they're all connected.
I like that. I love this pinup. This is great.
Oh, dude. Yeah, dude. Pixel, he did an awesome job. He did an awesome job with the splash. So
yeah. Oh, that turned awesome. So if you guys have not checked out Death Raider, I have. I think Randy and Marcus have been posting links in the chat, which is awesome. Which is why I gave them the wrench after I figured out how to finally do it. But there's also links in the description below the video here. So if you guys have not checked out Death Raider, go find out what you're missing, because this book is awesome. Rob is just killing it on the art. I mean, you can look at these pages and just see how epic this book is going to end up looking. So If you have not checked out Death Raider, go to Indiegogo right now. Check out Death Raider, and when you check it out, you will want to back it. And definitely do that because this book looks absolutely epic, Rob.
Thank you. I see everybody as my competition, including all the artists that when I was an inker that I got to work with. And I know it's a big leap to go from, I kind of think I've heard of Rob Hunter, and now he's writing, he's penciling, and his inking. So I know that's a big leap for everybody. But I never got into comic books to be an inker. I got in as an inker because my one of my roommates at the Cuber School said, "Hey, the European market's crashing right now. The American market's gonna be crashing soon." And this was in '92. He told me this. He said, "So whatever your strength is right now, keep working on it if you want to be a comic book artist." So and I've been just stubborn enough to keep cranking away. And the whole time I'm like, I want to write, I want to pencil. So I've worked really hard in the last couple of months, the last couple of years, working on my pencils so I could do something like this.
No, the pages look freaking fantastic. It looks looks like a movie come to life. So
thank you, dude.
It does. It does. I can't wait to see all of this because just all the work you're putting in is just amazing. Yeah, that's just gorgeous. It's all these pages here. Just a little bit of detail for you guys who care about any like artists really caring about what they're drawing and their inking and everything. Just a little bit of detail in there. So
just a little bit. I'm a little retarded that way.
No, but that's where that's where the good comics. That's where the good comics come from. Is from artists who really give a shit and care about what they're drawing and want to put out the best product they can. So yeah, goddamn right, SF Gaming. Goddamn that splash page though. Yep, absolutely.
Well, Randy says trading cards would be nice. There's the trading card that everybody gets of Death Raider if they were in the initial sign up and they back the project, they get that. None of the I never hit any of the my stretch goals. So, but I am thinking about revamping all the stretch goals so that I can offer trading cards. It just depends on the economics of it because I'm at 17,455. Between shipping, printing, and colors, there's really there's not a lot left.
Yeah, just the logistics of it, you have to definitely figure out.
Exactly. So, but if I could figure it out, I mean, literally, any freelance work that I've taken while I'm working on Death Raider, now I'm looking at like, okay, this much is for the bills, and how much this money lets me, spend another month working on Death Raider without having to try to force it out, stuff like that. So, it's working the economics of it.
Yeah,
so we'll figure it all out, and there'll probably be trading cards at some point. I had a lot of people offering to do covers for free, and I was like, well, and this was when I was under 10K, and I'm like, dude, I can't even afford to get the color. I go, it'd be awesome to get you to do a cover, but I can't even afford to get it colored. So I already had a few books variant covers already, so there were ones I did. So we'll see. We'll figure it all out. And
this might be an option too that you and I
think I'm going to.
That you and I will talk about in the future.
I might be putting it up this week. Fund My Comic.
Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like I need to talk to Clint first.
Just at least maybe talk to me.
All right. Definitely.
No, I'm not telling you what to do, but let's have a chat.
But you're telling me what to, dude, that's fine. Man,
this is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you helpful suggestions, and that's all I will ever do because I want to see this book. I love this book. This book is great. I want to see it do very well. But I'm also not a person who's gonna be like, you need to do this. I'm just helpful suggestions. So that's me. That's me. That's all me. So, But yes, if you guys are checking this out in the rewind, I know there's a lot of shows out there tonight, but yeah, definitely check out Death Raider, and if you're checking this out in the rewind and you this is your first time here, hit this like and subscribe button. Trying to build this channel up. Every week we get a couple of new subscribers. We're pushing our way up to 300 subscribers, which is awesome. We've been hitting like kind of regularly. We've been hitting 100 views on YouTube. So we're a relatively new channel. It's just me and Rob here talking about comics and pop culture every week and, showing off books on Indiegogo. So love everybody that comes in here and hangs out in the chat. Love you guys hitting the comment section, and I try to keep it real, like in line with the comments and get everybody out here and what they're talking about too. We definitely want to hear from everybody in the chat while we're talking about all this stuff. So it's been another awesome night. I'll just give a quick throw to Superiors is still in demand on Indiegogo. So if you haven't checked it out, you can still get this book. Most of it is done. I got a little bit of coloring work and a little bit of drawing work on the Who's Who, but I'm hoping to have that all wrapped up here by the end of July. I would really love to ship this book out in I'm really hoping to ship this book out end of August, hopefully September at the very latest. But I want to get this.
Do you letter it yourself too? Or?
Yeah, I do. I do it all now.
Do you use Illustrator for the lettering?
Yeah. I use Adobe Illustrator. I've got a couple of old programs that I got saved. I got old Photoshop CS3, and I got an old Illustrator. And apparently, a lot of the stuff you can do in Clip Studios now, but I just haven't had time to sit down and learn it. I swear I know it'd be super easy if I lettered in Clip Studios, and I've got like somebody sent me the video, tutorial of how to do it. I literally just need to sit and watch it, but it's just so much easier with the stuff that I already know how to do.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I do all my lettering. I do all my lettering myself in Illustrator. I do a lot of coloring, like I'll hire colorists, but like a lot of stuff I'll just kind of take care of myself when I got time.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's books that I put out where it's 100% me. So that's
cool though. That's cool.
Well, it solves a lot of deadline problems because I'm not waiting on anybody that like, it's like I know where the page is and how long it takes to get done. And if something needs to get done, I just sit down and finish it. So
I'll be right back. So
no problem. We're gonna wrap it up here pretty quick, but we'll watch the Superiors video here and check everything out. But again, man, Randy, Marcus, SF Gaming, Southern Cecil was here earlier. Racing, right? Is it Racing Psychosis? Yeah, I get that. But man, all you guys in the chat, love you guys being here. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I love talking comics. I love doing comics. And this is, CG is about the fans and like the creators of the fans too. We all love the same stuff. We love good comics. We kind of hate what Marvel and DC have turned into. It's garbage. But we are saving comics with CG. We are the real fans. We are the real creators that care about comics, that care about fun stories, care about action adventure. So I love every second of what we're doing here in CG. And I'm just always super appreciative when like people come out and check out my YouTube show. When you back my comics, man, it's an absolute thrill to me every single time. So here we'll hit up the Superiors video, and then we'll wrap it up for the night here. Boom. There you go.
That looks awesome. Every time I see that, I like that.
Appreciate it, SF Gaming. Superiors look so good. I'm ready for the Who's Who and Early Visions as well. So I just got all the colors back for Early Visions. So Early Visions is wrapped up. A lot of pinup art and variant covers and stuff for the Who's Who is done. July right now is going to be me doing the actual character pages for the Who's Who book. And once I get that wrapped up, then it's pretty much ready to go to the printers. So that's what I'm going to be working on here. Like I said, I would really love to get all the Superior stuff to the printer in August. We'll see if I can keep the pace I'm at going right now. But yeah, I kind of want to get all the Superiors wrapped up because Maidens of Mayhem is the next book.
And I was going to bug you.
Yeah,
I was going to bug you about that because I ask you that every time. What's the next project? No,
Maidens of Mayhem is going to be the next book, unless I change my mind. But that is a solid plan. That is going to be the next book. It's going to be a Pirate Queen, Blue Bombshell, and Sword Maidens stories. 3 big stories, 60 pages, adult only. Adult stories, adult content, nudity. There's going to be 3 individual stories: Pirate Queen, Blue Bombshell, and Sword Maiden. So that is going to be the next thing. I got to get the mailing list kind of set up for it here. But yeah, that's what's coming up, and I'd love to get that going in September. Hence, I want to get Superiors to the printers in August. So like each thing will move into the next thing, and you'll probably get ads for Maidens of Mayhem on the back of the Superiors comics and a little preview artwork and stuff. So that is the plan for the end of summer going into the fall here, and we'll see if we can stay on pace or not. So, yep. And let's run through. Thanks for doing it. Hey, man, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. If you're on social media, share the links on the campaigns. Absolutely. Randy's right. The more you guys can share out our stuff, the more it helps these campaigns. It is fantastic. Will the new campaign have a second chance for Pirate Queen? What's probably going to happen is I'm going to do Maidens of Mayhem, and I've kind of pushed back Slave Girl versus Pirate Queen a little bit. Slave Girl versus Pirate Queen will be the next campaign after Maidens of Mayhem. And Slave Girl versus Pirate Queen will have all of the back issues of Pirate Queen available. Pirate Queen 1, Pirate Queen 2, Slave Girl, all those books will be available for the Pirate Queen campaign, and they'll have new variant covers on them. So if you missed any of the earlier Pirate Queen stuff, all that will be available in Slave Girl versus Pirate Queen, which will probably be towards the end of this year to the beginning of next year, depending on how quickly I can. It basically comes to how quickly I can get the books to the printer and shipped out, so that people aren't. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself with running a campaign when the last campaign's books haven't fully shipped out yet. So, but yeah, the books, if you missed anything in the past, they will be available in these next campaigns. Wild enough for your next book. Yep, 57. You are fully adult there, Marcus. So, yep, you will be able to get my next comics. I would say if you're 16, you probably could handle it, but you probably shouldn't be buying it unless I don't want your parents suing me. Is basically it. It's old stories, new ones. So Maidens of Mayhem will be one of the very first things I did when I came over to Comicsgate, and before anybody knew who I was, I did a book called Sword Maidens. It's 30 pages, I believe. It did okay, but not it. I think I had 60 backers. So not a lot of people saw that book, but a lot of people have seen it on the Indiegogo since then and have asked me about that comic and how they can get it. So this is going to be that comic re-released with a new Pirate Queen story, a new adult Pirate Queen story, and a new adult Blue Bombshell story. The Pirate Queen story and the Blue Bombshell story were books that I offered as digital only books in earlier campaigns. So the artwork for those are done, but it's only been ever digital. They've never been in print. So this will be a second printing of the Sword Maiden story, and it'll be a first printing of the Pirate Queen adult story and the Blue Bombshell adult story. So if you'd gotten the digital of Pirate Queen or Blue Bombshell before, it'll be those stories, but in print. And then if you missed out on the Sword Maiden story from before that was in print, this will be a second printing of that. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of adult content. Again, it's not all brand new stuff, but it's a lot of stuff that a lot of people haven't gotten because a lot of people didn't get the digital backups, and they missed out on the original Pirate Queen or the original Sword Maiden. So it's a little confusing.
New to most people.
Yeah, it's a little confusing, but a lot of people missed out on this stuff, and a lot of people have asked me how to get this stuff. So it's going to be an opportunity to get this stuff out there, and it's going to be like, I'm going to do the campaign, I'm going to send the book to the printer, and I'm going to ship it. So if you're a fan of getting the book right away after the campaign is over, like, that's what's going to happen. Like, there's not going to be, I don't even know that I'm going to do in demand for this book. I'm just going to run the campaign, send it to the printer, and ship it out. So there's not going to be any waiting. It's going to be Titty Overload is coming, and wait till you see the covers I got. So I got some nice variant covers coming up. So
Clint, you like to keep things simple, and you like everything compartmentalized.
Yeah, if you keep it simple, and the thing is I'm always on to the next thing. So I don't want to string out a campaign long, and because you can always offer the books down the road in other campaigns. So Maidens of Mayhem is probably just gonna, and I don't even know if I'm gonna go a full 60 days. I might do 30 and then 15, and just I want to streamline. I'm gonna try some different things with Maidens of Mayhem. I'm gonna probably try a little shorter campaign, and I'm probably not gonna do in demand because I want people to get this book and get it right away. And because Slave Girl versus Pirate Queen, I want to get that going, and I've kind of pushed it off. So all kinds of big plans. We'll see how much of it actually happens or not, So there you go. There's a preview of upcoming things for everybody. Again, nice audio. There's a lot of shows tonight. Rippo's doing a show, and he's got Rennie on his channel. Mark Polton's got all of the Comics Kings over there. So for you guys who showed up tonight, I absolutely appreciate it. If you're catching us on the rewind, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. We're trying to build this channel, me and Rob. Sunday night, it's Comics Smack Talk Live. And we cover the week of comics and pop culture and just kind of bullshit and have a lot of fun. And we appreciate everybody who's here. What do you think, Rob? You got anything for a closeout here?
I would just say that this is the place to be to get Clint and I, where it's just Clint and I, and if we get a guest.
We have guests occasionally.
Talking about movies. And like, I have a YouTube channel, but there's no reason to watch it. You go to my YouTube channel to watch the Death of Radio trailer, except you just got to see that on this show. So I do a lot better with someone I can talk to.
Me too.
I am a grumpy, dirty bastard when it's just me trying to talk about stuff. I'm no fun at all. But this is fun. This is a great time. So, tell everybody else, if you like comics and you like some of the movie stuff we talk about, come on over and check us out, because we have been pretty consistent with Sunday nights. Except for the 4th of July, but you really consistent with Sunday nights. It seems to work out nicely.
Wasted.
So that could have been fun,
That could have been one
weird
train
wreck. Train wreck run away.
Well,
we've seen Clint naked again.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That is not helping us with you. So but we will sign off tonight. And again, thanks for everybody for being here. And yeah, hit that like and subscribe. And if you see us posting on Twitter about the show, retweet it for us, get the word out. But yeah, everybody have a great Sunday night. Have a great week coming up here. And yep, hail CG, hail the chat. And we are out of here.